What's happening, YouTube? Champ is back. We have ourselves another execution. This one actually took place last night. And I actually completely forgot that this execution was actually scheduled until I was like 3 inches away from sleep last night. I'm like, well, I have to update I have to update my program on what I'm recording right now on anyway. I'm like, I'll just deal with all that stuff in the morning. I don't really have any work to do today. So here we are. We have ourselves a very early morning execution today. It's only I think like 7:15, something like that. And I hit the intro on this already, and this seems to be just a regular uh run-of-the-mill murder that you'd probably just find on forensic files. Which, by the way, we definitely needed after that last one. You remember that last one? Holy crap. If you haven't watched that last one, just do yourself a favor and don't even watch that last one, because the last one is literally everything that you can think of that you could do to somebody that's absolutely horrible, only to a little kid and only to over the span of like 2 hours. It was ridiculous. It's like, well, then we burned the kid, then we froze the kid, then we drowned the kid, then the kid was eaten by wolves, then we dissected the kid, then we melted the kid. It, then we buried the kid and just we were tired. We wanted to take a nap, and then after our nap, we dug back up the kid, and then we ate the kid, and then we threw up the kid, and then we burned the kid again. It's like, obviously it wasn't something that stupid and that goofy, but it was a lot more aggressive, let's just put it that way. My point is, this one does not seem to be the case. So this one, of course, is by Final Verdict. This took place last night. I'm going to leave the description, uh, or I'm sorry, the links in the description down below. And don't forget to leave your like, your comments, your subscriptions all down below. Let's get it popping. Here we go.
On August 18th, 2026, after spending 18 years on death row, William Francis Silvia Jr. was executed in Florida. But 5 hours before the crime that put him there, a security camera caught him doing something the jury would never forget. He walked into a gun store, bought a 12-gauge shotgun, and stood at the counter completely calm. No shaking hands, no panic, nothing. And that calm, more than anything he said, more than anything his lawyers argued, is the reason he ended on that gurney. Because of what he told police afterward when they asked him why.
Not yet.
But
Okay,
to
now,
understand what happened that
so
night,
anything that happened, I don't know from this point on. So where are we at? We're in Florida, right?
they asked him why. But to understand what
And
happened
please bear with me. I'm also waking up. Like I just crawled out of bed.
that night, we have to go back a few months to the summer everything came apart for him and a woman named Patricia. Patricia Silvia was 39 years old. She worked at a daycare center, spending her days looking after other people's children. She had 4 kids of her own and a sister with Down syndrome named Robin, who lived with her and she helped care for. She was, by every account, the person who held her family together. And in the summer of 2006, she finally did the hardest thing she had ever done.
Wow, so this took place in 06. Where was I in 06? I was 22. Yeah, I was 22. Probably yeah, this was back when I was like in and out of college pretty much.
She left her husband. She had married William Silvia in 2002, but by that July, she'd had enough. And she took her 2 youngest, Rachel and Ross, and moved into her mother's house in the Winter Park area.
I thought that said Wither Park Village. Not even kidding. I played too much World of Warcraft, I swear. Too much classic.
Near Castleberry. Her mother Betty was there. Her stepfather Patrick was there. And for the first time in a long while, Patricia was somewhere that felt safe. But William couldn't let it go. He would turn up at the house in the middle of the night.
Wait, okay, run that back. So, like I said, bear with me, I'm waking up. So Patricia moved back in with Betty which is her mom and...
and moved into her mother's house in the Winter Park area
Thank you.
near Castleberry.
Sorry about that for everybody who already was paying attention. You're like, please don't back it up. Well, that's why I leave the link in the description, so you don't have to deal with my annoying ass.
Her mother Betty was there. Her stepfather Patrick was there. And for the first time in a long while,
So she
Patricia
moved back in
was
with her
somewhere that
parents.
felt safe.
Okay.
But William couldn't let it go. He would turn up at the house in the middle of the night, banging on the door and the windows. And every single time, the family sent him away.
Yeah, stalkers like to do that. You know, it's like, why are you gonna do that when you know that they're just gonna lock the doors and tell you to get the fuck off the property before they call the cops? Well, screw it, I'm just gonna go anyway. You know that's what's gonna happen, and nothing good is gonna happen from this. Oh my god. How many times have you seen domestic incidences end this way? It's always when the person wants to leave, that's when the whole entire thing ramps up. Because they're like, oh my god, I'm losing control. Like, they're so obsessed with control. Control, control, control. It's not bad enough that I'm controlling 99.9 repeating percent. I want that 0.00901%. Like, I want 100%. Dumb.
What was eating at him wasn't just the separation. In his head, something much darker had taken hold.
She's having
He
an
had
affair.
become convinced that Patricia was sleeping with her own 2 oldest sons.
That's weird. Didn't see that. With your 2 sons. How old are her sons?
There was no truth to it, none, and no one else ever saw a shred of evidence for it.
Yeah, he's just making all of this up.
It was a delusion. But when he confronted her and those boys with it, they were horrified. And that was the moment Patricia walked out for good. So the story he would later tell police, the one about her spending his money and dating her ex, was only the surface. Underneath was a man whose own...
Well, Patricia dating her ex makes sense, but why would she be smashing her own sons? How old are the sons?
mind had turned the people who loved her into enemies.
Yeah.
Then came September 22nd, and
oh, look at that shithole. If I ever see that car in the shop and I'm told to detail that, no. Oh my god, yeah.
whatever was
Just
left of his
change.
life
I don't even want to look
fell
at
out
it
from
anymore.
under him.
No.
He was
thank
fired
you.
from his job that morning. He was already home.
Ooh.
Then came September 22nd,
So he got fired from his job too.
and whatever was left of his life fell out from under him. He was fired from his job that morning. He was already homeless, sleeping in his truck, and renting a cheap motel room when he could scrape it together. So on the day he lost the last thing he had, he didn't fall apart. He went shopping. At around 10 to 4 that afternoon,
If I can't have you, nobody can have you. Screw all you bitches.
he walked into a store called Shoot
Here we
Straight
go.
and bought a pump-action 12-gauge Mossberg. And this is the piece the jury kept circling back to. The video shows him taking his time, looking the guns over, chatting with the clerk, paying, and walking back into the daylight like a man buying a lawnmower. The judge would later put it plainly. He exhibited no bizarre, agitated, frenzied, or panicked behavior. He was calm the entire time.
Wow.
But William wasn't done. He drove to a second store and bought 4 boxes of shells, both birdshot and buckshot.
See, by the way, that's telling, not the ammo. I'm talking about the whole buying it calmly thing, because you know what the hell he's going to do with it. You already know right now, you don't even need any evidence, that he's thought about doing this once, at least once. At least once. And he's buying a shitload of ammo.
20
for it.
rounds in all.
20
The
rounds.
gun he had chosen had a short barrel, the kind that throws a wider spread, so a single shot hits more of whatever's in front of it.
See, here's the thing. I've always wanted to be a gun owner, but for whatever reason, I've always been afraid of guns, especially pistols. I tried firing a pistol, and for whatever reason, like I was afraid to shoot the damn thing. I'm like, I don't know why. It's not like I'm pointing it at myself. I'm pointing it at the target that's 500 feet that way. And for whatever reason, I'm more comfortable firing a shotgun than I am firing a pistol. For whatever reason, I'm terrified of shooting pistols. I don't know what it is. But shotguns, yeah. Shotguns, rifles. If I was going to get a gun, it would probably just be a 22 caliber rifle. You know, like a or like one of those little buckshot like I mean, I got myself a BB pistol. I'm not going to do anything in the middle of a home invasion, but
Then he checked into a motel, bought a six-pack of beer, and waited. For hours. The shotgun was already
just a
loaded in the truck,
six-pack?
and on the passenger seat next to it sat the divorce papers between him and Patricia. By
Thinking about
around
it.
9 that evening, the family was out in the carport having a cookout. 10 people, give or take. Patricia, her kids, her mother, her stepfather, Patrick's brother Jerome, Robin, a couple of neighbors. An ordinary
No, this better not be a mass killing. Well, we already know that Patricia's one of the victims. Let's hope that she's the only victim, though. So here's my prediction. He's gonna come up here as if he's like doped out on meth, and he's gonna like bring the shotgun, wave it around, and yeah, it's a bad day for this family.
Friday, right up until a truck pulled up at the end of the street. William walked up and stood at the edge of the carport with his arms crossed, just staring. It was 15-year-old Rachel.
What? So he shows up like this. Oh, sorry. Hold up. Okay, we're off to a great start.
Who finally asked him what he wanted. He said he needed to talk to her mother. Patricia came out, they spoke at the edge of the driveway for a few seconds, and then she turned to go back inside. And as she walked away, Rachel heard what he said to her. "You will be sorry." Now watch how much room he had to stop. He walked back to his truck 100 feet away. Nobody chased him. Nobody blocked him. Betty even thought he had
People probably thought he was just gonna leave. I don't even think anybody here knows he even has a gun.
given up and left. He could have opened that door, climbed in, and driven off into the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But instead, he reached in, lifted out the shotgun, and started back toward the house. And with every step across that yard, he was already firing. The first shot went up into the air. Jerome saw the muzzle flash, heard it, and dove to the ground between two parked
What the hell is this? Is this an actual picture?
cars. Inside,
Say that
heard
again.
it, and dove to the ground between two parked cars. Inside, Betty thought she had heard firecrackers. She had just passed Patricia in the kitchen and asked if she was coming back out. Patricia said she would be out in a minute, and those were the last words they ever spoke. Betty opened the door to look. She saw a flash of light, and then nothing. The next thing she remembered was waking up in a pool of her own blood. The shotgun had taken her in the face.
So he's walking away, he grabs the gun. They don't know he has the gun. And Patricia walks up to her mom and goes, "Hey," or I'm sorry, the mom walks up to Patricia and goes, "Hey, Patricia, or do you want to go back outside?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'll be out in a minute." And then she's like, "Okay, I'm going out there now." And then she's about to go out there and gets shot in the face. Is that where we're at?
Shattered her jaw, took her left eye, the whole left side of her face, her sense of smell, and left her arm with permanent nerve damage.
Oh,
Doctors would later remove 3 shotgun pellets from what was left of her eye.
oh.
Patricia was a few feet away, reaching into the refrigerator for that iced tea, doing the most ordinary thing a person can do. William shot her in the head, and she went down right there on the kitchen floor. Her 12-year-old son, Ross, was standing close enough to watch his mother fall in front of him, and he started screaming.
Saw the whole thing. Imagine being this kid. How old are you, 12?
There was blood everywhere, smoke everywhere, and his Aunt Robin screaming as she ran past the bodies into the house.
Dude.
Rachel was still in the carport when he swung the gun toward her, 15 years old, and staring down the barrel from less than a foot away. She's alive tonight because someone shoved her hard from behind, and she went down and crawled inside before he could fire. And Patrick came around from the back of the house into the middle of it. He saw Patricia on the floor. He saw his wife outside, bleeding. Then he looked up and saw William at the end of the carport, pumping the shotgun and leveling it at his chest. Patrick stepped over Patricia's body, threw the door shut, and the shot hit the wood instead of him.
Look at that. Wow. Run that by me again.
Pumping the shotgun and level. Then he saw Patricia on the floor.
Okay.
He saw his wife outside, bleeding. Then he looked up and saw William at the end of the carport, pumping the shotgun and leveling it at his chest. Patrick stepped over Patricia's body, threw the door shut, and the shot hit the wood instead of him. That solid door, later dug full of buckshot and birdshot, is the only reason he lived. William fired 7 times, pumping a fresh shell into the chamber after every shot.
He's just randomly shooting at everybody.
One pellet punched clean through the kitchen wall and into the back bedroom.
Yikes.
Then William walked back to his truck, got in, and drove away, like the whole thing was an errand he had finished. And the medical exam...
Yeah, then now what? I mean, it's not like you just swore at them and then drove away. Like, people are gonna know that you did this. Like, I never understood. This is what happens when you just let your emotions go.
Examiner's testimony that would follow is the kind you don't shake. One large pellet went in through the top of Patricia's left ear, punched through her skull, and stopped in the front of her brain. She died on her mother's kitchen floor in front of an open refrigerator, a minute after promising she would be right back out. William drove back to the motel and bought another 6-pack.
Yeah.
A deputy spotted his truck around 3 in the morning. William slowed down, made eye contact, drifted across the median, and pulled into a lot where another car boxed him in. He got out laughing, glassy-eyed, and let them cuff him.
He's hammered the whole time, right? It's raining outside. He's hammered the entire time, right? That's what I'm guessing.
On the ride to the sheriff's office, he asked the officer whether he was married. The officer said yes. And then, with no emotion at all, William explained himself. That's the reason I'm in this situation. My wife spent all my money. I placed the checking account in her name. She started redating her ex-husband. That is the reason
they all say the same thing. If my wife just behaved, if she just did not say this one thing, none of this would have happened. Yes, it would have. Yes, it would have.
He had just killed the mother of 4 children and blown half the face off her mother, and he laid it out like a customer explaining a return. At trial, there was nothing for him to hide behind. The shells at the scene came from the gun in his motel room. There was the divorce petition on his front seat. And there was that tape again, the calm man at the counter 5 hours before. His lawyers made the case you would expect. A brutal childhood, a mother killed by a drunk driver, a family threaded through with addiction and suicide. And their psychologist diagnosed him with a delusional disorder. But here's what his own expert couldn't take back. What? Even she admitted, under oath, that William Silvia had the mental capacity to plan this killing in a cold, calculated way.
Well, no shit. He knew what he was doing when he bought the gun. He was buying it like he was buying a sub from Subway. Yeah, I'll just have one of those.
And the state psychiatrist drove it home. The moment William sat in a cell with no alcohol in him, the paranoia simply vanished.
Yeah.
No hallucinations, no delusions. In his
So he was hammered during all of this. Okay.
words, William was basically a model prisoner. This wasn't a sick man. It was a hostile, suspicious personality that scored sky high for psychopathic traits and blamed everyone but himself. The prosecution put it in a single line. This was the cold execution of a wife who would not reconcile, and the attempted murder of a mother who tried to protect her daughter only to be shot in the face.
She didn't protect her though, because they didn't know this whole entire thing was going to happen. Like you literally said in the video, she thought it was firecrackers. Nobody even knew this guy had a gun. It's not like that emotional scene from Harry Potter where Lily Potter just sacrificed herself. Like, just kill me instead. Don't kill her. That's not what happened. No, not what I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying that what's her name, Betty? I'm not saying what Betty did was not the right thing, but like she didn't know what was happening. And it just sucks. The only reason why Betty got shot in the face, well, number one, this guy's a complete psycho, and number two, the mother just so happened to be exiting the room first before Patricia. And that's the only reason why she was shot first. But well, maybe not, because he probably, if it was the other way around, he probably would have turned around and shot at her too, so it wouldn't matter.
And the judge saw the day for exactly what it was.
He didn't want to just kill Patricia, he wanted to kill the entire family. Like, Patricia was the main target, sure. And then, like, number two would probably be the parents, because I'm assuming the parent, I don't know. But Patricia was the main target. He probably just wanted to do as much damage as he could after Patricia was dead.
Bought the gun at 10:04. Bought the shells. Waited hours. Drove across town with the divorce papers beside him. Told his wife she would be sorry. Walked 100 feet and came back shooting. Not a snap. Not a frenzy. A plan. The jury voted 11-1 for death. Then William Silvia spent almost 20 years trying to crawl back from that sentence. And there's a bitter irony in how it ended. Years earlier, he had waived his own right to appeal. But when the law later shifted and handed other men on death row a second chance at sentencing, he reached back to grab that same lifeline. The Florida Supreme
Please say no.
Court told him no.
Thank you. No, I changed my mind. I guess I will have that appeal now. Nah, sorry, it's one and done.
You threw it away, and you don't get to take it back.
Thank you.
They reinstated his sentence in 2018. A federal appeal died in 2024. Clemency was refused, and every door he'd left himself, he had shut with his own hand. Then, in his final days, his lawyers made one last argument that lands a certain way with anyone who remembers Patricia. They fought to delay his execution over a shortage of the sedative Florida uses first, the drug meant to make sure he wouldn't feel the rest of it. The man who shot his wife in the head next to a refrigerator spent his last week worried his own death might not be gentle enough. But the courts weren't moved. In July of 2026, Governor Ron DeSantis signed the 13th death warrant he had signed in a single year, and it was for William.
Dad.
On the evening of August 18th, 18 years after a security camera recorded a calm man buying a shotgun, Florida carried out the sentence. The curtain to the death chamber went up at 6 o'clock. William was already strapped to the gurney with an IV in his arm and a priest seated at his feet.
Oh, you know what I should have done? Well, too late now because the video only has, 13 seconds left of it. Since this video was going to be late anyway, I should have went out and bought whatever the last meal is going to be. I don't know what the last meal is going to be, and I should have been eating it while I was watching. Too late now, and most places are not even open yet anyway, so whatever.
He lay there, mostly still, his eyes and mouth open, as the three drugs began to flow.
Ugh.
Asked if he had any final words, William said this: "I'm sorry all this happened. It was an accident. I never meant to hurt her.
Really?
A few minutes after the drugs began, a warden shook him and shouted his name. There was no response. A medic pronounced him dead at 6:11 p.m.
What was his last
William
meal?
Francis Silvia Jr. was 61 years old. He was the 13th prisoner put to death this year in Florida. What do you think? Has
I don't
justice
know what
been
his last
served?
meal was.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
That was nuts. That was nuts. Like, people who are controlling they surprise me, man. Like they said in the beginning, what did they say in the beginning? She was like a third grade teacher or something. Yeah, but she's totally smashing her 12-year-old son. Like, controlling people, man. So that's what happened yesterday. I don't. I'm assuming I was home at the time. This was a crazy weekend, and I'm glad that there's no work today. Just a lot of stuff happened this weekend. Awesome things, not so awesome things. And I could really use to take it easy today. But this is a good way to start the day off, I can tell you that. I can tell you that. There's two videos right here, and I just took my pre-workout formula, and I'm going to do some plyometrics here. So I'll catch you guys later.